What's the girl that normally sits next to you? Huh? Where's she at?
She keeps disappearing. What's going on?
Okay.
Some vitamins. I said it's some vitamins.
You're making fun of her, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Back it up when she get here.
You gotta be nice. You get more with honey than you do with
That's
vinegar.
true. Well, you know, she's young.
So here's an eyeball, okay, right here. When you look at this eyeball, as you can see with this model as well, and there are other models marked eyeball up there, you can see without any problem that there's a white structure here, which is called the sclera, the whites of the eyes. I mean, we all got it. Yours are a little bloodshot, I might say. You know, Ed? You been out? We were out last night? No? Just a tough night, huh? Just a little bit. So, yeah. Sometimes they can get a little bloodshot here, especially with allergy. And then, of course, here's the cornea right there. Transparent, nice, convex, eh? Because they have a cornea. I don't know what they have exactly. Now, attached to this is going to be these muscles. You see these muscles right here? These are called extraocular muscles, and they help with the movement of the eyeball. Right? Now, and it's real easy. All you have to know is what's superior, what's inferior, what's medial, and what's lateral. If you got that, you're in. All right? Superior. Inferior? Yeah? All right. Medial is on this side, and if you notice, that optic nerve does not come out directly out of the posterior apex there. It kind of comes out at an angle, doesn't it? See the angle there? You all see that angle, how it's coming out that way? Yeah, hey? Yes? You all can try that one, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. See how it's coming out at an angle? Yes. This is how the eye would be. See how it sticks out there a little bit?
Ooh, broke my eye.
I didn't do it, as the kid said. I didn't do nothing. All right. Liar, liar, things liar. Okay. I'm not doing well here. All I hear is this teeny weeny little voice behind me. Oh, what the hell is she yapping about? That's all right. So, getting back to this. Superior, inferior, and medial, because that optic nerve is pointing medial. It's pointing medial. See how that's pointing in that direction? Medial, therefore the other side is. See how easy it is? Another easy way too. See which way this is pointing? Medial. Alright? Made it easier for you. Alright? Now, based upon that, they name these muscles based upon where they're at. This is called your superior rectus, I say superior rectus. Yeah, superior rectus. Got a brain fart there. Down below here, you can also see inferior rectus. All right. So you've got superior and inferior rectus, medial, lateral rectus. So you've got these right here, superior, inferior, medial, lateral rectus. And then there's this one right, oh, I just broke the cornea again. Right here on the bottom that swings around. This is called the inferior oblique. Inferior oblique. See that right there? Y'all see that? Right down here. Inferior oblique. Inferior oblique, got it? So this one here is called superior oblique on top. So these muscles help you to move the eyes in this, also this way, up and down, and they can create that round movement, you know. But what's really neat about the eyeball, it's all coordinated in your brain for that movement, so that you can coordinate your eyes like this, you know what I mean? That's what's so important about your cerebral cortex. That's where it's at. So y'all got that? Okay. What's your name, Kayla? Brooke Wayne, right? You see that? Okay. Optic nerve. You're going to see. Please ask that on the lab exam. You never know. All right. Now, here's the cornea. There's the cornea. You can see the cornea there. You can also see the muscles here. You can also see a real nice optic nerve right there. See that optic nerve right there? Just in case you can. See that optic nerve? Now, as you take off the sclera, you then have the anterior cavity right here. See right?
Messing up, Jim.
I'm not doing nothing, man. I'm not touching this. I'm going to use this one. Cornea. All right. Then you'll see that right about this is your anterior chamber right here. And then if you lift that up a little bit, you can see that there is a pigmented aspect right here. See that? That's the iris. That's the iris. You see the iris right there? Look at my eyes. What color are they? Blue green, we call it angel. So what do you think? That's my heart.
I'm not sure.
Anybody got other colors besides my blue? You got blue?
Like green.
Green?
Yeah.
I'll take that. All right, so you got green, how about you? Brown. Any other colors here? So if you want to see blue eyes, or hazel eyes, or green eyes, just come over to us and say, let me see your eyes. We'll just open up there. That little dot is what it is. It's a space. That's the pupil. It's not a structure. It's a hole. And when you look in there, you see black, right? Just because no light in there. There's no light in there. Look at my pupils. You see black, right? That's good. All right. Because the light's going in and it's being absorbed by that choroid layer. Pretty cool, huh? Now these can get bigger. This pupil can get bigger or smaller, depending on what's going on. Sympathetic or parasympathetic. Now this structure right here, this is the choroid layer. This is the choroid layer. This is that pigmented layer that's going to help absorb light. Okay? Choroid layer. Now, you take off that, we split that in half. We've got this great big thing back here, this plastic thing that's not broken, okay? It's called your vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. Did you get your light sheet, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So this is your vitreous humor. This is that gook that we're going to see today. All right, that icky, sticky, snotty type stuff. All right. And then this here is the lens. This is the lens right here. The lens sets right in there. And if you look here, you can see little white lines. See those little white lines right there? You see? Little white line? Thank you.
Do we do anything important until 11?
Okay, what do you think they're called?
I'm trying to remember.
White lines, that's exactly what they're called, the white lines. No, they're called suspensory ligaments. Suspensory ligaments. Funny
That's what
girl.
I'm gonna get to. Yeah, so, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good thing.
Yeah.
The suspensory ligaments on there?
That was just looking at shit on the
Yeah,
mic.
suspensory
Gotta
ligaments.
go on the microscope.
SUSPEN
All the way up to oil.
SORY ligaments. LIGA mints. MANTS. Suspensory. You don't have nothing to write with? There's that kind of there.
These are the suspensory ligaments.
Yeah, those are those white ones.
In my brain,
If they fall out of there, you go, watch fall out of there. Okay. Suspensory ligaments. SUSPENSORY. Suspensory ligaments. They articulate between the ciliary bodies and the lens and change the shape of the lens. Okay? See these little red things right here underneath here? There's a real fancy name for them, but those are basically your ciliary bodies. In fact, see what I'm kind of sticking this thing in right here? Got that? See that right there? That little red spot that I'm kind of sticking this in? That's your ciliary bodies. Okay? Ciliary bodies. And they go all the way around. You can see it. I'll just stick that forward. See right there, that little red thing right there? If you look at a bigger eye model, you'll see it's even more pronounced. All right? In fact, if you look behind you right there in that big box, is there a huge eye in there? A big eye? I mean a big eye. I mean, I'm talking one big eye. Okay? Or half of one? No, it's even bigger than that. There's nothing bigger than that? There's nothing like this big? I'll go find it. It shows a very good ciliary body, but you can see it here. Right? That ciliary body.
So under
All of this is all ciliary body. All right? Right underneath here. It goes all the way around. You can see them right here as well. See? Ciliary body all the way around. You got that? You got that?
I know we have some of you.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I was just
So we also have the lens. We got the lens, right? Goes right in there. Then you have your vitreous humor. Now, you see this tannish area right here? Off tan. Tan is that a correct color? Tan. There, right here. That's called the retina. This is the retina. You see it here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's all you had to say was yes. See it right there? Roosevelt? Retina. 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 Okay, all that tan stuff right there. Got it? Retina. Now, I'm going to point to something right here. This is that fovea centralis. The fovea centralis. See that little dot right there? It might even be a different color on some of these other models. I can't tell. Let me see over here. No, it's all the same color. See that little dot right there? Yeah. Fovea centralis. The greatest visual acuity in the eye occurs here. Color vision and visual acuity. That's because it's all cones. Nothing but cones. Rod tried to move in, and it wasn't happening. Okay. See right there, that little fovea centralis right there, the little dot? You with me? Are you sure? You got it there? Okay. So that's the fovea centralis. Now, in some of the models, they show a little yellow thing around it, another area around it. That's called the macula luteum, all right? But if you know the fovea centralis, I'm just fine with that. Fovea centralis. Now, this is your optic disc. This is your optic disc. Let me start over here. See that right there, right where the optic nerve is at? Optic disc. Got it? The blue line's a vein. Artery, it's the whole area right here. This whole area right here. Okay? Optic disc. Okay, you got it? Got it? Beautiful. All right. Optic disc, lutea, retina, we got the choroid layer. Have you missed anything? Most of it's got cornea, ciliary got that choroid layer, iris, pupil, lens got that, optic disc, yeah, that. Okay, fovea, anterior, posterior cavity, suspensory ligament. I think we're good on the eye, all right? Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's fine and dandy. Now, you should be concerned with the fact that when it comes down to crunch time, later on when we have the lab exam, you should know all this stuff. You know, it's just that simple. You should know it, you know. I can potentially ask you anything that's on that list, anything. And I will. Okay. There's like 80 or 90 questions on your lab exam. Maybe even 100, depending upon what's going on. And when I do the lab exam, this is the easy way to handle this.
There you go.
Put it somewhere in there underneath the rug. Oh, you can't do that, man. Yes, I can. Watch me. That one's like, oh, we're not done. So, I'm going to have these models. I'm not going to have some picture out of a book. All right? We're going to use these models. So, and those models as well. Look at that. Those are some beautiful models over there. All right? So, if you do have a phone, don't hesitate to take a picture of it so that when you go home, you can look right at it, Sure, you can look at pictures, and I know there are some people that use pictures. That's fine and dandy, that's their choice. But if you're coming to lab, you're going to use models, so the models are going to test on what you saw in the lab, right? Does this seem fair? Yeah, I mean, they should drive me nuts when I see these people, they throw all these models up there, and then they got pieces of paper down for their lab exam. Well, I'm going, what's going on? A little descriptive adjective in there, but what's going on in there? But they don't listen to me, I'm nobody. And that's fine and dandy. I don't mind being there. Next, we're going to do the ear. The ear. The ear is broken down into 3 segments, just like the eyeball is broken down into 3 different types of tumors. All right? Somebody here? So we've got 3 things to look at with the ear. All right? Let's grab that ear right there. Pass it to me. Here, ladies, why don't you grab that ear and send it down there a little bit. We got another one there. And there's a couple more in the cabinet if you want to grab them. Just in case. Now I want to mention this so that I don't see it. When you are looking at a model or pointing to something on a model, do not use your pen. And do not use an ink pen or pencil or anything like that. We're trying to avoid marking up the models. Some people put shit all over this. Use this little needle tool. Okay? Okay?
Why you keep
What?
Why you keep looking at me when you say it? You can't.
Because I didn't know. You were looking at me like, why are you looking at me? And I just kept on looking at you. Nothing, don't take offense to that. It's two X chromosomes, you know what I mean? We just can't help ourselves. Let me know when you're done. What you got in that bottle? Oh, the happy juice? All right, 3 divisions of this ear. First, the external ear. The external ear. All right. That will consist of course, your lobule. All right, your lobule. I put that down there, didn't I?
Yeah.
All right, good. That's down here. Auricles right here. This is auricle. Lobule is this little part that you stick your earrings in. Yeah. Your auricle primarily, this structure right here is made out of cartilage. All right, made out of cartilage. It's actually called elastic cartilage because you can take your ear and bend it down, and it bounces right back up. All right. You'll also find that this is the spot where people use to pierce their ears. They usually do the lobes, but you'll find that there are some people that go into the cartilage. And my sister has like 10 pounds of shit on one ear. You know what I mean? I have to, how come she doesn't tilt like that? It's not safe to pierce your ear in this area. It's not safe. All right? You're more susceptible to infection. Cartilage does not heal well. All right, so if you do get a problem, it's not going to heal up as quickly as other things will. All right. So if you can avoid doing that, you might want to go to the lobe. That's cool because there's no cartilage there and it has a lot of blood supply. You got it all over. No? Then what you have is this little tube right here, which is called the external auditory canal. External auditory canal. You all see that right here? Yeah. You'll find later on when we do this in lecture, we'll talk about how there's earwax glands in there, ceruminous glands are called, that can help protect the ear. There's skin there, there's hair, at least in males, all right? So yeah, you'll find that it's just a resonator of sound. As sound enters the ear, the auricle will collect the sound, but then that external auditory canal right here will act as a resonator and intensify those sound waves and cause that tympanic membrane to start vibrating like crazy, man. Yeah. And at the end of this tube, you'll see that there's going to be a structure. If I can do this, living with the handicap here. There we go. You'll see that there's a little structure called the tympanic membrane. Whose membrane? Tympanic membrane, you see it? Ladies and germs. Tympanic membrane right here. The eardrum, that's what. I've always been a big fan of Looney Tunes. When Bugs Bunny goes into Giant's head, he starts playing drums on his eardrum. That's awesome. He also goes into his mouth and goes to Ugo. You guys are probably too young. I can't see what you're pointing to.
Some of these have like the same values.
Yes. Tympanic membrane.
Alright.
Y'all see that?
Yes.
I'm going to take it out for a minute. You'll also see down here, see where I'm pointing to? Comes right up here. Comes ends right there. But you see this tube right here? See it? That's called the eustachian tube. The who?
Eustachian.
Who station?
Eustachian.
Eustachian. There you go. Can we see that if we go?
So.
Eustachian. You know, that little tube, even though it's only a little tube, connects your upper respiratory tract with your ears. And sometimes you can get a throat infection, then all of a sudden it kind of moseys all the way up through that eustachian tube up to your ear, and you get an ear infection. All right. And in the adults, the eustachian tube is kind of at an angle like that. But in children, the eustachian tube is almost straight over from that upper respiratory tract to the ear. So there's no height that the bacteria have to climb. So that's why kids are more predisposed to infections, ear infections, because of the eustachian tube. It's not up like that, it's straight over. All right. Understand the logic there? How you doing? You doing okay back there?
Oh, there's 42. This one's 4B.
Okay, so that's the eustachian tube. You've seen the effects. You're going down and landing in a plane. You're going up to a fast elevator, going up to floor 95. And all of a sudden your ears start going crazy. It's sometimes hurting. That's because of the pressure that's occurring in your ears. All right? When I came home from Ireland, there was a poor little baby. I felt so bad for her and her mother and me because the baby was crying a lot because of the pressure. She couldn't handle the pressure. And I said, well, I have some Benadryl. I have some Ativan. And if you need anything else, I can get it to quiet that baby down. You just let me know. She looked at me real strange. Man, lighten up, will you? Chill. So, there's also a little cavity right here, right behind the tympanic membrane. This is called the tympanic cavity. It's air-filled. It's an air-filled cavity. All right? Somebody's phone is ringing. It ain't mine. That's the tympanic cavity right there.
Oh, tympanic.
No, we're just doing the cavity.
So what do you want?
I already got the one guy gave me $10. I said, it cost me $10. Only cost me.
Because the two.
Interconnected.
Tympanic cavity, air-filled. So right behind the tympanic membrane, there's an air-filled cavity, all right, called the tympanic cavity, all right, part of the middle ear. Now, for you to get across this cavity, for those sound waves to get across that cavity, there is a bridge of bones which forms across the tympanic cavity, known as auditory ossicles. Auditory ossicles. And there are 3 of them. All right. The first one is attached to the tympanic membrane. See right there? It attaches all the way to the tympanic membrane right there. Can you see that right there? It attaches, comes up here. And that's the very first one, all right? That's called the malleus, right there. Kind of looks like a hammer if you look at it, right here. It's the malleus. Number 40 if you're into numbers. See it right there?
And he said it's a malleus.
Then behind it, right here, look up here. Right up here is called the incus. The incus. Or sometimes the anvil, because the hammer is going to hit the anvil.
This part or this?
Just like a Looney Tune. Right. So here's the malleus. It articulates with the incus.
It's 4.
All right. Can you see that one right there? The incus? The middle one? And it's 4B on here. The other one is malleus is 4A. And then here at the end, which articulates with the oval window of the eyeball. This is called the stapes. The stapes of the sternum.
You better get your phone. That's the third time you called.
I'm gonna get that.
That's what he's doing.
You're recording.
It could be.
Yeah.
It looks like a stirrup, doesn't it? If you're doing your horse day right now. So you've got three bones that are forming your auditory ossicles. Your malleus, your incus, and your stapes. Okay? You all with me on that so far? Right here. See that thing that kind of looks like a stirrup right there? And what will happen is that stapes will sit right there in the oval window. See right there? Right. Now, as vibrations from the tympanic membrane cause the tympanic membrane to vibrate, it causes these auditory ossicles to vibrate. And they will then go to the inner ear, all right? The inner ear. You know something? Hold on a second. I just remembered something. Everybody slide in just for a sec. I got a little weight. Excuse me? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I really thought it was gonna be like
Yeah, that's what he said. It's not like it's
Oh, your cousin's sorry? Yeah.
See, you were like,
He did on Monday though.
what happened?
No,
Did you graduate?
Oh, yeah. Babies at 14. Yeah, I have twins. So I have my little ones. I like yeah. Oh yeah, of course. You like that? Yeah.
I don't have a,
But it's changed now.
I'm telling you, I have a usual teacher. She didn't care.
Oh yeah.
I wish she has been
I did not
calling.
realize
She was so laid back when she came home. All the tests were online, quizzes were online. I love her.
Yeah.
I need to teach them
I
class.
was back there when
It's basically like, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's like, I don't know this.
All right. Obviously, they don't have that big model. Well, I'll find it before we leave today. When we talk about the internal ear, we talk about three different aspects of this. All right. First of all, before we even start, the outer layer of the inner ear is called your bony labyrinth. Your bony labyrinth. What? Because what's labyrinth mean?
Isn't it like a bridge? I don't know.
Labyrinth, anybody know what that means?
Yeah.
Maze. Maze.
It's like about a bridge.
And so, this is made out of bone, so they call it a bony maze, bony labyrinth. On the inside, which we can't see
Wait,
because
so
of
is
this
that
particular
the white
model doesn't have it, or where that other one's at. There's a membranous labyrinth, all right, a membranous labyrinth. Now, three divisions. This area down here is called the cochlea. The cochlea kind of has that snail appearance, okay? This middle area right here is called the vestibule. The vestibule, kind of in the middle.
Yeah. So is that number 2?
Huh?
Is it number 2?
Yeah.
So what was it? The next one?
Vestibule. And then finally, these little things right here are called semicircular canals. Semicircular canals. Very important as far as balance and equilibrium is concerned. Semicircular canals. It's like a ring, man.
Yeah.
So it's green.
Then you have the middle portion, which is vestibule, and then this little snail-like thing at the end is called the cochlea. All right? You see that? Now, I'm going to point to something right here. This is one of 2 non-bony things of the bony labyrinth. This is called the oval window. The oval window. It's called that because it's what?
write it down just
It's what? It's oval, that's right. It's not any trick here. Oval window. See it right there?
Oh, it's A. The color next to it, 'cause it's too neat.
Oval
I'm
window.
writing it down.
See it right there? Ladies?
Yeah.
Oval. Now, if you want to know what the oval window does, the stapes is going to set right inside of that oval window. And when it vibrates, it pushes into the oval window, creating a fluid wave inside the cochlea. And that fluid wave is then converted into a nerve impulse, which is then sent to the brain where it's perceived as a sound. Right? Down here, right below that, is called the, what do you think? Round window, because it's round. You got this down. Round window. See it there? Round window, y'all see that? It's right below the oval window. See it right there? Round window? Got it? What will happen here is as that fluid wave, the energy that created that fluid wave is going to have to be released. You just can't keep it bouncing back and forth inside the ear because you get all these false image sounds. So it's released through the round window. Okay. Then right here, what's this called? Cranial nerve number 8. Cranial nerve number 8. Vestibulocochlear nerve.
Is that a 5?
It used to be called auditory when I went to school, but they changed their mind. Now it's vestibulocochlear nerve. You know why, don't you? Because cochlea, hearing, vestibular, balance, and equilibrium. So they had to combine them both together. Right there. The big yellow thing. Cranial nerve number 8.
You said what?
I can't show you utricle and saccule because of the fact that the model that we had here, I don't know where the hell it went to. All right. If I find it, I'll bring it back. I'll show you that. Okay. But in lecture, definitely, I will talk about the utricle and the saccule and all that stuff. It's just that the model's not here. Where am I supposed to be? Got any ideas?
No.
Neither do I. All right. I don't want to complain. They got enough to worry about those. All right.
Obviously has a weird voice.
What we're going to do now is, the slider is in the back of the tunnel, okay? We've already seen this slide. We looked at it last lab. Remember we were doing a microscope?
Yes.
You were looking at that slide. You were looking at a papilla, and you were looking at the little taste buds off to the side. So, just to refresh your memory, take a slide out and look at it one more time. Or if you have a picture, before you leave, look at it one more time, all right? I do not want to see people not using that microscope properly, all right? So if I see you screwing up with that microscope, I'm going to be one pissed off person, all right? And it's, you know, I can be the nicest person in the world, but you get on my bad side, it's not good, all right? It really isn't. So let's all be happy and use the microscope correctly, all right? If you have any questions about using it, don't assume. What happens when you assume?
Make an ass out of yourself.
And me. Yeah. So we don't want to assume. Don't hesitate to ask me. I'm not going to bite your head off. All right? Not the first time. Second time I might. You know what I mean? So your mission today, and it's not impossible, all right, is to become one with these models. Now, wait a minute. I know you're waiting. When are we going to dissect that eye, Jim? And the answer is right now. All right. So look these models over. Check them out. All right. Do what you got to do with them. Take pictures of them. Look at them. Do whatever. I'm going to go get your sheet guys for you.